What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to another episode of Trail Talk. Today we're covering the top 25 tips for trail riding etiquette. Let's go. Yes! Welcome back. Another episode of Trail Talk, right? Listen, Eric and I just finished riding. I put this new shirt on because if you haven't noticed, we film videos in multiple chunks, but I still change my clothes. Why do we care about that? No one knows. But I have a brand new shirt on, even though I'm super sweaty and covered in bug spray and sunscreen. We were just talking though, and we were thinking, let's see, we just rode all day. We were talking kind of about like some trail etiquette stuff. Eric?
Yeah, we were.
And we're like, how about we do a very shotgun video, like boom, 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 tips and tricks, the top 25 do's and don'ts for trail riding and what you should think about so that you're not that guy or that girl when you're out on the trail. Here's the thing. We had some very weird conversations, like some very specifically weird pro tips for trail etiquette. So some of them are gonna be very personal for us, and some of them are gonna be a lot broader, like really good information. But here's the thing though, we are going to forget something. We only have 25, right? There's more than that in the world of etiquette. So at any point in this video, you can even jump the gun on us. Put your best trail etiquette tip in the comments. You know, maybe drop a like on the video. I don't know. That we deserved it. I don't know. But throw them in the comments and we're gonna blast through 25 tips. Are you ready, Eric?
I'm ready.
Tip number 1, have a plan for the day of riding and discuss it with everyone in the group. So we were here, Eric and I, and a producer who nameless currently. We had a plan, we discussed it when we got here, and we executed the plan. Tip number 1, complete. Tip number 2, have everyone's contact numbers. I happen to have Eric's contact number in this phone. Here, check it out. No, I'm just kidding. 444 you wish. Have everyone's contact numbers. If you do have cell service on the trail, you can still find where people are and or just coordinating ahead of time. Are you at this gas station? Are you here? I asked Eric for coffee this morning and he said I already went, so good luck. But have everyone's contact number. That's tip number 2. Tip number 3, have the experienced person with the most experience. See the other vehicle down there?
Yep.
We're kind of in a group. This is very specific why we did this.
I can feel it.
Have the most experienced person at the front of the group. It kind of depends on the group size though. In a 2-person group, you want to have the most experience at the front because they know where to go. They know the trail system, and then you can watch in the rearview mirror for where your buddy is, right? In a bigger group though, now we're moving, you may want to have someone who's experienced at the front and the rear. So if someone falls behind, you can make sure where they are. If you're in a massive group, you can put someone at the front who's experienced, at the rear who's experienced, and maybe some in the middle. Depending on the group size, make sure you have experienced people in the right spots. Next tip. Eric.
What are you doing?
Tip number 4. Know the width of the trailhead or possibly the trail gates that you are about to go on before you ride. So basically, there are trail areas that have 50-inch width restrictions, 64-inch width restrictions, tons of different restrictions, and they change, you know, sometimes year to year. Make sure that your vehicle is not too wide and won't fit between the posts that sometimes are at the front of a trailhead. If you think, I'll go anyway, they literally put like blockades so you can't get your vehicle in. So make sure you know the width restrictions for the trails you're riding on. Next tip. Tip number 5. Get the proper permits and documentation and tags to be able to ride in the places that you're riding. We have no documentation, but we're riding on private property right now. When we go to public trails, we will have our plates, we will have our tags, we'll be all good to go. I'm here because most people have them possibly on this crossbar, possibly on the back of the vehicle or somewhere, right? Zip tied, so it's sometimes the side. Have the proper permits or registrations or stickers, varies by state. Check the local government riding area and restrictions. But tip number 5, right, Eric?
Yeah, I think we're 5.
Have the right permits and documentation. Tip number 6, only ride on designated trails. Remember our video about how to find trails? We talked about it. Only ride on real trails and stay on those trails. Don't cut shortcuts, don't do other things. Keep the land protected, that is for our enjoyment, and use the trails properly that we're supposed to be using. Check the BLM, check the DNR, make sure you're riding on designated trails. Okay, next tip, hand signals. Tip number 7. If you've ever been on the trail and you've seen people doing, crazy catcher and pitcher signals back and forth, it's not about that. It's actually about communicating with people who are in oncoming traffic. This is something we've seen kind of fall off with more new riders coming into the space. So it's something that we wanted to still communicate because it is a prehistoric almost, like technology, just using your hands, but it works very well. So in this riding group, if you will, we have this vehicle and the one behind us, right?
Yes.
If I was approaching oncoming traffic, firstly, I would slow down. Well, number 1, that means we're on a 2-way trail, right? Not a 1-way. But if we were approaching oncoming traffic, I would, in this case, as the first vehicle, I would hold up a 1. The reason for the 1 is that there is one more vehicle coming that they may not even see yet. Could be, half a mile back, they're not sure, they have no idea. But I'm the first vehicle, I go 1. Come on, Eric. If we're the next vehicle, I'm now the last vehicle. Hey, what's up? My name's Terry. I hold up a fist. This is a 0. And this means there ain't nobody else coming behind me. And if there is, it's a new group or I didn't know about them. So first vehicle holds up how many cars are remaining. The next vehicle holds up the next amount remaining, all the way down to the last vehicle, which holds a 0, Eric, or a fist. Quick caveat though, giving someone a hand signal is not more important than saving your life. So if you are in a situation that requires very much focus, hands on the wheel, etc., you still should be slowing down for the other vehicle, but don't risk your vehicle to do a hand signal. That person would much rather prefer you not crash in front of them and tell them how many more riders are left because they have eyes also. But hand signals are awesome. Don't forget to use them. Eric,
yeah.
Tip number 8. We're gonna do a better job with the numbers the rest of this episode or it's gonna be a long video. Riding near dirt bikers. This is your helmet.
Yes.
You dirt bike in this helmet. In a huge vehicle, you still have to be aware of ATV riders and dirt bikers that are in smaller vehicles than what you are in. Also, sometimes dirt bikers, Eric says this, they don't have lights on potentially. So just because you don't see lights doesn't mean you don't have to be aware. Make sure you are aware of dirt bike riders in your area. It just might be Eric, and he just might have been eating a cookie. Tip number 9, when you get to an intersection or any fork in the road, make sure you stop right there so that the vehicle behind you knows which way you're going. You want to make sure that you're staying there so they know, boom, the next path so that they can then wait there for the next vehicle. So you basically are this big daisy chain, Eric, and you know where the whole group is going. So make sure you care about the vehicle behind you, otherwise the whole day you have to chase people down and that's no fun. So wait for the vehicle at any forks in the road or whatever and make sure they know which way you're going. Tip number 10, Eric. We just talked about losing group members. If you are stopped at a corner or a fork in the road and you're waiting for the vehicle behind you, if nobody shows up, do not just continue riding, right? If it's been that amount of time where you're like, it's been that amount of time. You should not continue riding and you should actually turn around as safely as possible and as slowly as possible and with all your lights on and go back down the trail, especially if it's a 2-way, and make sure that you find your group before you continue riding on and separating yourselves even further. Eric, yes. Tip number 11. A lot of tips about getting lost here. If you're in the dunes and you get lost, the best thing that you can do, because dunes are tall, Eric, okay. That's why I'm up here, so I can demo being tall. Yeah. Go to the nearest top of a dune so that you can see as far as you can, and many times, very often, many times, you'll be able to see, oh, I just missed this one little like spine or whatever, and they're like 2 dunes over, right? Or you can just see them passing over a certain area. If you get lost in the dunes, drive to the top of the nearest dune and use it as a lookout point. Maybe even climb on top of your rig. All right, next tip. Tip number 12. Last tip about being lost, I think. Remember how we mentioned discussing having a plan? Yes. Make sure that you have a rendezvous point in case people do get lost. Sometimes if you're in a ride park, a really easy thing to do is, hey, we parked, right? Trailer, vehicle, this is where we parked. Meet back if we all get lost, just simply at the trailhead. Or if you have a multi-stop route, hey, if we get lost, let's stop back at the last stop. Or if you ride in the dunes in Glamis, stop at the swing set, right? That sounds like the weirdest thing, but if you know, you obviously know. Have a rendezvous point so that people at least know where to go in case they end up taking a different route. Okay, last tip about being lost, on to some other good tips. Next tip. I forget the number, so we're just gonna throw it on the screen. Ride, not with all your lights on like we are, but ride with your headlights on, we've talked about this, at all times of the day. Obviously for nighttime you need to see with them, but also at nighttime, and also during the day, you need to be seen with your lights, Eric. Yes. Some states are actually requiring that lights are on at all times, if you didn't know. So, stay right there, don't move. Not all the lights, right, but ride with at least your headlights on. Do you know what I just realized?
What's that?
Is this real?
Oh, look at that.
Did we never pull this?
No, it doesn't look like it.
Comment if you got this far. Comment rapper. Maybe we'll send someone a hat. Comment rapper. We'll literally send someone a hat. Okay, actually, that looked like I littered. I'm putting it here. We're gonna take it. Next tip. Tip number 14. We're not going too far.
Okay.
This is our ride group.
Yep.
I almost tripped. If you are riding near any structures, houses, developments, campsites, porta potties. By the way, if you say porta john, get out. Picnic structures, there's probably people there, so tone the speeds down, less than 15 miles an hour. Be respectful. We want our community to have a good culture and people to have a good impression of us. So slow down, be respectful, especially at night. If people are sleeping, go slow for just a second, then you can keep mobbing, okay? On to tip 15. Tip 15, use group ride on ride command. How many more times do I have to say it, Eric? It is simply the way.
It is.
It's so awesome. It's so easy. Look at Terry, still nearby. The machine's off again. Terry's not in motion. But you can see where all of your friends are, your family is. You know if they take a wrong turn. You know where everyone is. You can stay out of the dust. Use group ride on ride command. It just doesn't get any better. Okay, next tip. Tip 16. Bring durable snacks.
What does that even mean?
It doesn't. If they can survive temperature changes, if they can survive being kind of jostled, is that right?
Okay.
Check it out. Beef jerky, very durable. Very durable, it's been in the heat all day. It's actually probably just simply more tender now. Jerky is a great option. You know, Jack Links, Old Trapper, whatever. I don't know if these are durable, but I just love Skittles. Basically, don't bring chocolate, don't bring like, chips probably, because then you're eating chip dust. Yeah. But bring durable snacks that can survive temperature change. We got some more food tips. Next tip, Eric.
Yeah.
Tip 17. This is where a cooler would be, or possibly some food. Don't ever bring the following.
Okay.
Mayo, raspberries, or guac. Here's why. Mayo, once it inevitably breaks, will not wash out of anything. Don't believe me? Football spike a jar of mayo on your favorite pair of pants and throw it in the washer. See what happens, nothing. Also, If a jar of raspberries breaks in your cooler, it looks like a deer died in your cooler. It looks like the most bloody mess, and it will stain everything else in the cooler. Also the same thing with guac. And imagine perhaps both of those things happening in the same cooler on a single ride event, and you had other valuables in the cooler.
Did this happen to you?
This might have happened to me. I'm not gonna name any names, but there are people at Polaris who broke my raspberries. And it was the grossest thing ever. Okay, anyway, don't bring mayo, raspberries, or guac, or other like items.
Got it.
Next tip, if you are broken down, maybe you have a flat tire and you can't fix it somehow, whatever it might be, if you're with another vehicle, send them to the most dense populated area on the trail system where people are riding so that you can find someone the most likely chance to find someone who can come and help you. Wherever you break down, send someone to the road, send someone to the nearest camp, send someone to the most likely place to find someone who can come and help you, and then you can get yourself recovered out of the situation. Tip number 19, Eric.
Yes.
Remember my huge bag of tools?
Yeah.
Imagine that in here. Have the person in a riding group who has the majority of the tools, not you, ride in the back of the group. If anyone breaks down in front, they will certainly obviously pull off. They will have to stop. The person with the tools will know because they will see them pulled off. If the person with the tools is in the front of the group, they may not know, and then what was the point of bringing the tools anyway, right? Waste some time, gotta bring them back, whatever. Have the person with all the fix-it stuff in the rear of the pack, and they will be able to help anyone that breaks down. And tip number 20, Eric, same kind of concept in a sense. If you see another group who is stopped or, on the side of the road, definitely slow down first and foremost, and definitely ask them if they need any help. Maybe they didn't bring tools, maybe they need help. They might be looking for, how we just recommended, go find someone to help you. They may be looking for someone to come help them. Be a good neighbor. Help people in the community. If you see somebody broken down, help everybody, stop and see if they're okay. Maybe they're just having a bad day with coolers and raspberries and guac, you never know. Next tip, tip 21. We're away from the vehicles.
We are.
Make sure that you are driving on the correct side of the road, AKA off-road, AKA the trail. Currently we're on gravel. In the US, I can account for at least, I won't speak for other countries, that is the right side of the road. Make sure you are always driving on the correct side of the road so that you never are endangering yourself, your passengers, or other traffic. Eric.
Yeah.
Firstly, this seat,
Hot, I bet.
300 to 400 degrees. Come around for a second. Tip 22, down in here.
Uh-huh.
That guy?
Yeah, I see it.
Tip 22, stay below the posted speed limits at all times. I don't know if, like in real life, how the 5-mile-an-hour grace applies off-road. Officially, we're telling you it doesn't apply. Make sure you are always following the posted speed limits, whether it's for the trail or the riding area, especially when you're in traffic, especially with oncoming traffic. Don't go faster than you're supposed to. The speed limits are there for a reason, and they're there to help you in case there's a turn or an obstacle. Make sure you're following the speed limits. Easy on the go stick. Always be ready for the stop stick. We'll make that work in post. Tip 23, if you are going to stop the convoy, had to say that word in this video, make sure you have a huge straightaway with space on the side if possible. So you can't really see the trail because it's just a parking lot, but imagine there's a huge, you can see the road continuing on.
Yep.
Make sure you have a big section where you can stay on the side of the trail so that everyone can safely stop and you're not causing a blockade or obstacles for otherwise moving traffic. Second to last tip, make sure that you are keeping a good distance between you and the vehicle in front of you. These are stopped vehicles, but this is too close if we were moving. See this, Eric?
Yep.
You want a couple vehicles of space in front of you between the vehicle that you're following and where you are at, obviously.
And you're gonna be sucking dust.
Well, yeah,
Close.
so a couple things there. If they slam on the brakes, you need to have space to stop. Also, they are continuously spewing dust, like Eric just said. You are going to be eating all of that dust. Also, in a larger chunk form, roost, right? You know what dust is? You know what that is, right? That in your face, not fun. That on your knuckles, also not fun. That on your windshield, also not fun. Keep a good amount of space between you and the vehicle in front of you for maximum safety and for everyone's enjoyment. That was like 4 and 5 dentists approve of having the right space between vehicles. Okay, last tip next. Eric,
Yeah.
final tip. If you've gotten this far, you are one of the real OGs. Final tip is, listen, you probably, if you have off-roaded before, knew a lot of the stuff in this video. Some people who are new though have no idea of specific etiquette things. They have no idea not to put guac in their cooler. They have no idea to pull off or how to lead a trail or to stop at an intersection, right? So be very welcoming of new people who may not know the different trail etiquette. Definitely discuss a plan with them. Ask them, you know, where they want to ride in the group, where they feel comfortable, what speeds to be going. Be very considerate of new people in the community. New people coming in is awesome because it only grows the sport. It only makes, you know, everything more awesome, right? So be welcoming of new people and help teach them the different trail etiquette out there. How great was that, Eric?
It was perfect.
That felt really good to say.
Tips. Yeah.
We rode with someone new today, one of the producers, codename Terry. That's not their real name. But make sure that new people feel welcome because they're gonna end up freaking loving it and they're gonna have a blast too. Okay, we're not gonna cut here. We're gonna keep going, but come along with me. One more spot. This is the end of the video. We covered 25 tips. I'm pretty sure Eric and I both aren't the best at counting, we found, but we covered 25 tips. Let us know in the comments, what is your top trail etiquette tip? I know we forgot some things, right? I know you were typing already throughout the video maybe. Let us know what your favorite tip is. Join us for the next episode of Trail Talk, right? Make sure you're also riding. These things are awesome, but if you don't ride them, then what's even the reason for etiquette, right? The etiquette is like, go look in the garage at the vehicle you never use. Don't do that. Get out on the trail, have a blast, and again, join us for the next episode of Trail Talk. We'll see you next time, everyone.